Good morning. It is Wednesday, March the 18th, and this is The Drill. Thank you very much. I'm Ron, your host and the only true conservative in the United States today. I created this podcast to answer the question most asked by conservatives, namely, what can I do? The podcast is short, approximately 5 to 10 minutes long, because shorter podcasts are easier to download and listen to, and shorter podcasts force me to get to the point. Been listening to conservative talk radio since 1989. I've grown up in a socialist household, and I've seen the destructive effects of socialism up close and personal. My podcast is made available through Spreaker and can be heard on iTunes, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. Today, what can I do? Tweet of the day, subjective Ayn Rand, and don't touch your face. All that when I come back. Thank you. What can I do? First and foremost, know what it means to be truly conservative. Be proud of being truly conservative. Talk proudly, walk proudly, and dress proudly. Dress your income. So many successful people today dress as though they were poor. They dress down. They dress as though they were not only poor, but even homeless. Conservatives dress like socialists because of peer pressure. The peer pressure to dumb it down, to glorify failure, to undermine success and competition. The pressure to emphasize luck and fortune over skill and intelligence. You need to be consistent and walk your talk. If you aren't consistent, you lack integrity. If you lack integrity, then you will hurt your credibility. And if you have little credibility, you will have little influence. If you don't have your mind right, you'll never win. Next up, the tweet of the day. Thank you. The tweet of the day from Mayor Eric Garcetti. Quote, we're lifting ticketing on street sweeping on residential streets and making other changes. Other changes to parking enforcement to help you during this difficult time. Unquote. Next up, Ayn Rand. Thank you. The biggest mistake that Ayn Rand made was in creating her own philosophy, and ironically, she called it objectivism. For when she created her own philosophy, she ceased to be objective. Objective means universal. In other words, the ideas apply to everyone, everywhere, at all times. Rhetorically speaking, objective statements are more effective and persuasive than subjective statements. Her weak philosophy set her up for more rhetorical weakness, such as, quote, in my opinion, unquote, and, quote, what I mean by, unquote, instead of, quote, as a matter of fact, unquote, and, quote, what blank or X means is, unquote. Don't use subjective statements when you mean to speak universally. If you do, you will be contradicting yourself and be rhetorically ineffective. Next up, don't touch your face. Thank you very much. Everybody says, don't touch your face. Really? Who's going to do it for me? Who's going to wash my face, comb my beard, put in my contact lenses, put in my hearing aid? Who's going to pick my nose? What everybody should be saying is, don't touch your ass. The late Red Fox used to say, no matter how big you are, you gotta wash your ass. Okay, but use protection. Get a washcloth. And make sure that you always put your contact lenses in before you wash your ass. By the way, the whole point of wearing a protective mask is to stop spreading disease, not to stop from getting it. When someone speaks, they create little drops of spit, and the mask is put on to shield others from being subjected to virus-laden moisture. There. Back in a minute. Who is a true conservative? He's the person that understands that conservatism is not just about politics, but culture as well. He's not selfish, but minds his own business. He acts like an adult. He's patriotic and uses common sense. He expresses what he knows and does so with certainty. He makes judgments, refuses to speculate, speaks clearly and definitively, and is not afraid to say no. He is open-minded, asking why rather than why not. He is consistent, credible, and influential, not ashamed of his existence, unafraid to learn or correct his mistakes. He is a normal American, and he is better than the socialist. He's a better friend, father, brother, family member, and a better person, period. You have to know that. If you don't know with every fiber of your being that being a true conservative is best, then you are wasting your time. And that brings me to the end of another episode of The Drill. Remember that the left has no authority, no power, and they can't win. Think about it.